Hello and welcome back to SF Giants Recap. And so in today's video, we're going to be looking at the Giants rotation and how it'll pan out for the 2022 season and which pitchers we will sign, which pitchers we shouldn't for that number 2 spot. And so let's get right into the video. So make sure to subscribe and like if you do end up enjoying the video. And so how the Giants rotation looks as of then will be a lockout is our number 1 starters looking like Logan Webb, with how dominant he was in the second half of the season and in the playoffs, posting a 3.03 ERA. We have a number 3 starter with Alex Wood, who posted a 3.83 ERA in 2021, and a number 4 starter with Anthony Desclafani, who re-signed as well as Alex Wood this offseason. And so then this offseason, we also lost our number 2 starter with Kevin Gausman, who was very, very dominant in 2021, and he has gone to the Blue Jays. But then the Giants did sign Alex Cobb, who will be a nice number 5 starter to have, and so that's how it looks right now. In the minor leagues, we can bring up some guys with like Sean Jelly and Sammy Long if we need some inning eaters. Those guys will be ready for the majors, and so we can platoon those guys to have just in case we have injuries or other things. Now the only question is who'll be our number 2 starter, and so let's go over, in my opinion, of what free agents we should go after during this lockout and who we should sign after the lockout. And so my number 1 guy that we should go for is a little under the radar. It is Carlos Rodon, and you may say he's a victim of pine tar, but he ended the season with a 2.37 ERA and 185 strikeouts, and so the Giants could really go after him. He did post a nice .96 whip, and I think he'd be a nice number 2 spot in the rotation, be really dominant, give the Giants the best chance to win, and so that's why I think we should go after Carlos Rodon. And we'll go over all the money with everyone that I will talk about at the end of the video. And so the next pitcher that I would go after is Yusei Kikuchi, who ended the season with a 4.41 ERA. But, the Giants, they're known for making solid pitchers elite. And so we could have Yusei Kikuchi to fill in that final spot. I don't think he's a second starter nonetheless, but he will fit right in with the solid 5 pitchers that we could have. And I think he could be a really good pitcher because in the beginning of the season he had a 3.48 ERA, showing that he can stay in that 3 ERA range, which I think is a really good range to have. Obviously, you want them to be elite, but like if you're gonna have a middle of the rotation guy, I think in the 3 ERA spectrum, that is the way you want it. And so he could be really dominant, and we could really develop him to be one of those elite pitchers who will be really good for us. He is a left-handed pitcher for the Mariners, and so I think he knows how to pitch. He's from Japan, and he has some nasty stuff, a good changeup, solid fastball. So that's why I think the Giants should go after him after this lockout, and so that is why I would go after Yusei Kikuchi. And so the next guy I would go after is a familiar name. It is Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson was with the Giants in the shortened season of 2020, and he posted a 4.37 ERA, which isn't amazing, but he was a solid arm in the rotation. In 2021, he played for the Pirates and then got traded to the Mariners, in which he posted a 4.53 ERA in 167 innings with 134 strikeouts. And so if the Giants sign him back, I think he'd be a lot like Yusei Kikuchi, which they would develop him into a little bit more dominant pitcher, and I think he has a lot of potential. He can show that he has a nasty changeup and he has a nasty curveball that can loop right in there, and so he does show a lot of potential, and the Giants, it's a familiar name. They already know him, and so they could go try to sign him back and try to develop him into a more dominant pitcher, but I think he'd be a nice little guy to go get there, and so that's why I think that we could go after those 3 guys. And so let's go over the money. Obviously, Carlos Rodon is going to be a little bit more money because he was so dominant, posting an under 3 ERA. And also, he had a no-hitter. And so I think he'll be a little bit more pricey. But if the Giants really want to be competitive, I think you go after him. Try to get him as your solid number 2 starter. And he'll be up there in like the 18 to 25 million a year range, in my opinion. I'm not an expert on how much money they spend, but I think that'd be the range that they go after him. And so for Kikuchi and Anderson, they'd be around the same price, and I think they'd be cheaper than Alex Wood and Anthony Sclafani. So that'd be the good thing, is that we could get them for very, very cheap. And so that is going to do it for my video for today. And so if you like this video, comment down below of which of these starters you go after, or pitchers that I forgot to mention. So I'll see you next time for a new SF Giants recap video.